Hello, TECH GIRL Diaries family. As I've been doing my editing on the book, I have found that my bed was the most creative place I could be. I've been in the dining room, I've been outside, but I found that when I'm here on my bed, I get so much creativity just flowing. So most of the time you'll see me on this bed doing the editing and then just going through the book. So today I want to share with you a snippet of what I have been editing so far. There's a chapter in the book titled Born a Leader. Yeah, Born a Leader. So I'm just going to go through a snippet of that chapter. I want to believe that I was born to lead. Some people say leaders are made, and we could argue about this for a whole day. Being the firstborn, I believe I was catapulted into the leadership position straight from my mother's womb. It is not a position I chose, but one that I had to assume with all the responsibilities that came with it. We were always being given homework from school every day of the week, except on Fridays. As was the norm every day, my mother asked me to supervise my siblings as they did their homework. The consensus was that they do their work sitting outside in the sun. Well, I saw nothing wrong with that, and I agreed. They laid out a mat on the concrete paving in our backyard and got to work. I sat with them for some time as I read a book of my own. After some time, our phone started ringing. My mother had just stepped out of the house, so there was no one at home. I dashed inside to answer it. My friend Abigail was on the other end of the line. Abigail was a great friend of mine. We could talk for hours about anything and everything. The good thing for me was that neither my mother nor father were around, as they were the only people who sanctioned our phone time. They did not want anyone staying on the phone for too long. Today was like an early Christmas for me. I sat down on the closest sofa and chatted away. We must have talked for almost an hour. We only hung up when Abigail's mother yelled at her to get off the phone, as she had been there far too long. I could hear her loud voice on the other side of the line. It was loaded with the promise of great repercussion if her order was not obeyed. Abigail and I made our quick goodbyes as we settled the receiver back in its cradle. I stood up, stretching like a Cheshire cat. That was a long time for one to sit locked in one position. As I stretched, I was trying to think back on what I had been doing before I came to answer the call. Yes, homework. I made my way for the door. The sight that greeted my eyes sent a chill down my spine and left me numb with fear. The whole concrete paving was littered with bits and pieces of paper. My siblings were nowhere to be found. They had finished their homework and disappeared like a mirage, leaving everything out there on the mat. Our 3 puppies decided to take over from where they had left off from and decided to play tug of war with each other using the books. One of the puppies had started chewing onto the other book and shaking it like a juicy bone. I was dumbstruck. I managed to croak the puppies' names as I dashed forward to salvage what I could of the situation, but great damage had already been done. With shaky fingers, I collected what remained of the books and waited for my mother's return. I was like someone waiting for a death penalty. Time seemed stuck somewhere, and my mother took forever to return. As soon as I heard our gate creak announcing my mother's arrival, I waylaid her out on the pavement before she could enter the house. Immediately I looked at her, I burst into tears, partly as a ploy to seek mercy, and partly because I was really scared of the repercussions. Our parents rarely beat us, so a beating was really something we were all scared of. Through the tears that poured down my face and the mucus streaming from my nose, I managed to relate, in between sobs, what had transpired. I had stepped away for a little while, only to return and find that this had happened. I should have been watching them, I know, but I was really sorry. My mother did not answer. She just turned like a zombie and walked towards a peach tree we had in our compound and broke off a thin branch. Who knows what transpired after? So at the end of that chapter, I have this, that all that pressure and all that weight on your shoulders is yours alone to bear. No one stops to think that you too are just but a child, with your own fears and shortcomings, just wanting to live the life of a child. No one is looking out for you as you look out for others. You are, after all, the firstborn. So that's a snippet from the chapter, Born to Lead. Let me have your comments. I'm going to send a link. Let me have your comments on what you think about being firstborn. Are you a firstborn? What has been the pressure on you, or what has been the pressure on your firstborn, the firstborn in your family? Just comment on this snippet and let me know. Otherwise, thank you for coming with me on this journey, and let the baby be born.